What are you trying to get at?
I'm trying to see what kind of good you got.
What kind of good you
some
got?
books. That's about it.
You got a sneaker collection?
He's like, I just got some books.
Yo,
You
can you
think, hey,
guys,
yo, you got a sneaker collection?
can you guys check if we're live?
Are you interested in some works by Shehu
Yeah, we're
Uthman
live.
Danfodio? That's
We're
all I
live.
got.
Yeah.
Are we live?
All right, I'm gonna move you guys to the
Shabab.
audience right now until we go. Sorry guys, I'm gonna just so we get ready. We'll bring you guys back in later on.
Are we live? Can we talk?
Yes, we can talk.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We're back. I think this time for good. The enemies of the bad Mamluks can and enemies of God as well.
Allah.
Just kidding. You're not enemies of God if
Oh,
you hate
yeah.
us, but
Reboot. It says, yep.
you are enemies of the mad Mamluks if you are rejoicing at our stream problems. Allah Azza wa Jal will take care of you.
Move your phone away.
Ish.
I have to remind you, bro. You all put this
Can
by
you
the
relax,
thing.
bro? Can you relax?
I am relaxed.
You
I'm
used
just
to,
saying.
you used to be so
relax?
concerned about audio quality back in the
Yeah.
day, and now it's
Oh
like,
my God, dude.
Yani, it's
I'm
nothing.
trying to do like 10 different things here.
He's
And
multitasking,
you guys
guys.
have like no what's it called?
No ghira.
No
not
patience, no
ghira.
sabr.
Ghira, bro. What's
Sabr,
called? What's
sabr.
empathy? What's empathy?
Yeah. It's a type of empathy.
No, ghira's not empathy.
It is.
Hey, Sheikh, why you did?
No,
why,
ghira can mean
why are you
empathy
sending
too.
me on the path of
Dalala?
a wrong?
Ghira is not just used for like women, bro.
Yeah,
falsehood.
ghira actually means like empathy.
People get ghira for their deen, bro.
Yeah, that's called protective jealousy.
No,
Not always. It's fine though. It's
that's
fine.
one.
Why are you guys making up terms now?
What? Why does he seem sad?
No.
Well, Sim, we're on the same team, dog.
You
I
guys-
just don't get it. All you guys make
you
is
guys
we
taught
love you, bro.
the Mad Mamluks listeners what ghira mean. We had so many discussions about ghira, about protective jealousy, and now you guys say, you know what? Ghira can mean empathy as well.
Depending on how you use it, yes.
like for
Not
example.
empathy. I didn't say empathy.
I said empathy, and you said, yeah, it means empathy.
Did I say it means empathy? I apologize.
I knew it.
I apologize.
Sheikh Amr 0, Sim 1.
Yes, for sure. Hey, you're 10 and I'm 0.
10?
You're 10 and I'm a 0. How's that? Bro, you always knew I was a 0.
This is how he does it. This is what he does to make me feel
I
guilty
swear, dude.
for winning the argument. Now
No.
he just makes me feel like
Dude,
crap.
I've never won an argument against you, bro.
Sheikh,
I don't have the
how do you
mental
have
faculties
such
to do
good
so.
humility?
What? I don't have the mental faculties, bro. Bro, if I'm stupid, I'll tell you I'm stupid. I don't mind being stupid.
Sim, it is the trick of the devil.
No. There was-
Dude, it's a good question. You know, I'm
no.
glad you asked him that because
He's the most sincere person I know.
No.
here's the problem. Here's
I'm done.
Sheikh Amr. I think the problem is this: is that people like try to dunk on you, and they're like coming at you like, "What does Sheikh Amr? What does Amr know?" It's not I'm like this dude has studied like you put in like what 11
10
years,
years,
10 years
12,
overseas.
maybe.
I'm
Yeah.
like you went to
Yeah,
this
12
dude went to
sometimes.
this dude went to Mauritania, and then Nadwa, and then like Azhar.
Wait, where did this come from? Why are you saying this?
You know what I'm
Just
saying?
happened?
No,
Did you read
because
something in the comments?
No, because
It
there
came
was
up
some.
actually came up at a clubhouse. We were talking about a clubhouse chat. Remember?
Oh, okay.
Cats were talking about like we were like people like try to throw shade at Sheikh Amr like, oh, he ain't no scholar. I'm like, dog,
That's fine,
yeah.
dude.
You
No,
know
no,
more
no,
than
no.
these clowns.
I don't know.
I will say this much: there
I
are
don't
certain
mind.
scholars out there who chase clout. And alhamdulillah, mashallah, tabarakallah. I don't like to praise Amr to his face because I don't make him feel good. But
I like it. I like it. I don't like to make him feel. Forget about him becoming arrogant. Forget about his pride. I don't like him feeling good. What a friend.
but he doesn't
That's
like
a
throw
friend.
his
That's a friend.
weight around. You know what I mean? Like, and I think generally,
His
if
love
I can,
handles.
he doesn't like the limelight, right? And I think, and you know what? To be honest, like that there are a lot of mashayikh in the world who
Yeah.
are like remote in places and no one knows anything about, but they're giants,
Yeah.
right? And like, just because you're not known and you're not on the Sharia compliant board or
But
AMJA
do you think the forces of evil, aka Dajjal and Co., do they work?
Dajjal and Co.
Do they
Are we-
work
hold on,
against
Are we
us?
supposed to know who this is?
Of course they do.
No, I mean, do
Well,
they take advantage of our sincerity, our honesty?
not me and you.
Not me.
Not me and you.
Good awliya, you know.
So let
the
me-
awliya,
Yeah, or-
So, Abdal.
Wait, so let me define something. So
the
everyone,
friends of God.
everybody on this side, they don't bother. Everyone on this side, they bother. Like they're against everyone on this side, and they don't mess with anybody on this side. So we're all on this side.
So do we need our scholars, some of the awliya to, become a little bit more stronger against? Do they need to harden their hearts a little bit more?
I don't know if harden the heart's the
Guys,
right
I am
word.
Soften the hearts, you mean?
bro.
No, harden. No, because it's maybe a little too soft.
That's why it works.
Well,
'Cause
look,
it's
man.
soft.
I honestly, I believe that. Look, man. Everybody has their qualities, right? There are certain scholars and personalities that are tough and can be strong, and there are certain people that have this fire in them, right? If they're scholars or not. And I look at the examples of Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhum, right? One had this tenacity, like this boldness, right? And the other one had a different approach, right? But they both were strong in their deen and both were strong, forces within Islam, but they had very different approaches. And there was, I'm not saying that Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was timid, but he reserved that for when it was absolutely necessary. And I'm saying it depends on the nature of the person, bro.
Yeah. Well, I sometimes feel like, Sheikh Amr was talking about some problems that some Muslims are experiencing within a certain organization in Chicago. They're having a great deal of difficulty with a very authoritarian person who's leading this organization, right? And it just made me think about it. I'm like, man, why is it that good people, despite like how good the people in this organization are, they're led by a freaking dictator, authoritarian person who makes you regret
There's
or makes
many
you not
organizations like that, yeah.
No, it just makes you not want to work for Islam.
Can I tell you why that is?
Go ahead.
Why I think it is? Well, because they see that good people are not going to behave the way they're behaving, and they take advantage of them. And they know that, because you know what? When you have someone like that has a good character and he's soft with his brother, he can be tough, but he's soft with his brothers for the sake of peace. He doesn't want to have a fight. He's trying to follow the sunnah. Some people will take that to an advantage and muscle in on that person, and it's unfortunate. But also like they're thinking in a very different manner, in a different manner. What I mean by that is they're just looking at numbers, revenue, stuff like this, right? People that are on the other side feel a sense of duty and like calling. Like many of those, by the way, people, teachers, whoever they are, they can leave for other places to give them better money, a lot more compensation. But a lot of them stay back because they feel this sense of obligation and this bond they built with the students and the atmosphere, and they don't leave. And that's like, they take them for advantage. I'm serious. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I have my own take on this, just people in general, right? From amongst the most pious people that I know in this world, they're going through the most turmoil and injustice. These people that I know firsthand, right?
Yeah.
All types of organizations, and I don't think it's just about somebody being soft and people walking all over them. I truly believe that's one of the signs of people who are friends of Allah. And I'll tell you what I mean by that.
That you get walked on over?
Yes, I'll tell you why. Why
Yeah,
I mean that.
I want to listen.
So, one of the people that I know very, very well, in another state, probably makes about $19,000 a year teaching Quran full time. Amazing teacher.
Yeah.
Amazing teacher. He's kind of comfortable where he is for some reason, right? He doesn't want to leave that position. People tell him to leave and do something else. He just doesn't want to. But there's a lot of hardship involved. And he's a go-getter. He's a very active person, even in the masjid. And
Is he married? How does he support himself with $19,000?
people do it. I know some people that are making $17,000 a year, bro.
Is it a rural
I know
town?
about stories about single mothers raising kids with $18,000 a year.
Wait, is it a rural town?
No. But let me give you the idea of why I believe that people who leave in the path of knowledge and learning and Quran, look at all the people in history. There were very few people who were actually well off, and they're human beings. Some of them wanted to attain more wealth, but they just couldn't. Those avenues are sometimes cut off for them, right? So my personal almost conviction now is that there's some people that are just cut out to have a very, very difficult life because Allah has something else prepared for them, no matter what they try, right? There's so many people I know that are very strong personalities, but they're always in a very difficult situation. Some of you probably know people like that. I know people like that they're always going through some type of misery ever since you've known them, right? Some of them are people of knowledge, and some of them are just, people. Just this happens it happens to all types of people, right? But one thing I've seen specifically in our time, as far as Quran teachers, right? We have this talk in the background saying, "Man, Quran teachers, they should be making this much. these type of people should be making this much. These type of imams should be making. Why do you think that it's? Just a coincidence that everywhere you go, that imams that do like the job of 10 people, all of them have very, very difficult lives? It's not a coincidence, right? There's a reason for that, I think. And I think the reason for that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing them because He has something else prepared for them, right? Much more grand. So we see that the path of all the prophets, right? A majority of the prophets had very, very difficult lives. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a very, just forget all the other prophets. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, look, before he passed away, he didn't have anything to his name. Nobody inherited anything from him. There was no inheritance to give out. There were no wills. Do you understand what I'm saying? The only inheritance was the Khilafah of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a majority of people that are involved in Islamic work, a big portion of them are always going to be struggling monetarily. That's at least now, the way it is now, right? But yeah, then there's situations where you try to fix conditions of people. It doesn't mean that injustice should prevail. That's not what I'm saying. Injustice in many organizations is prevalent, right? Doesn't mean that we're okay with it. We still have to talk about it, but that's a test too, right? What's going to be after that? Like so many Islamic Muslim organizations that we know now, they're struggling, right? And they can try to solve the problems however they want, but a lot of those problems aren't going to be resolved.
It just seems like, Sheikh, that the enemies of God are in charge, and they are.
Can I just ask why this whole thing started, the enemies of God thing?
No, I mean, I just feel
it's
like
kind of scary.
Because of our live stream.
Because remember the people, the enemies of the Mamluks are enemies of God.
The people of the
Batiniya.
The Batiniya.
Battle.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say people enemies of man, Mamluks are enemies of God. I don't know that. I don't think we should.
You know, I was thinking about this. Every time we do, that we have Maghrib now before the Salah, before a stream, right?
Yeah.
So I always read Surah Al-Hamazah because I'm like, we about to be doing some slander tonight, boy. Maybe it'll cover us. I don't know. Does that cover you?
No, we're not going to do any slander.
Reciting Surah Al-Hamazah doesn't? Okay.
No. Of course, dude. Of course.
But it's not like a safety. It's not like a safety.
No, of course it's a safety. Anything from the Quran is a safety.
I mean,
especially with intention. But I'm going to say that there's no such thing as me coming onto the podcast and saying, it's going to be a slander fest.
Okay.
Right? That's not my intention, bro. But what the other thing I'm going to say is, guys, look. The other thing is I made a mistake as far as checking. I always told you guys, hey, man, don't check comments, right? For any videos that we make. There was a 3-day binge that I have is checking comments of our past 2 videos that we made. And I found myself in a weird place, so I just stopped all in all. But it was a 3-day binge where I was constantly following all the comments.
I know what you were doing. Sheikh, you were doing what the Sufis call FANAA. It's called Annihilation. You destroy the self, and you know about FANAA, right?
You're just trying to piss off everybody, aren't you?
No, I love bro. FANAA is something I hold. I respect the Sufis for.
Oh, really? I never annihilate myself.
No. The annihilation of self is a path to actual
I don't believe that.
realization. It's a means for truth to actually be.
So I believe it karramna bani Adam. So Allah exalted, made me great, but I'm special.
You have some Salafi tendencies that come into your mind.
It's an ayah of the Quran, bro.
This is why I tell everyone on the podcast why I'm more Sufi than anyone here. All right, FANAA is actually a very beautiful concept within Sufism.
Wait, what just happened? What just happened?
That's probably the funniest thing I've heard in like 5 years.
Yeah, more Sufi than anybody else.
What? Bro, Maheen, you have Sufi friends, bro. I'm a Sufi friend of yours.
No. If anything, I would say that Maheen's probably the most Sufi on here.
No, bro. So,
get out of here, bro. Just because he read a sea without a shore doesn't make him.
And all these people he hangs out with.
He read a sea without a shore once and he considered himself Sufi.
All right, go ahead, bro. What are you talking about? Tell us your experience with FANAA. Let him finish his point.
FANAA is a beautiful concept, bro. I've been reading a lot about it really. In between games that I've been playing on my phone, what that Mort got me hooked on, it's called Clash Royale. But you said so I hop onto Sheikh Google, and I do a lot of research on the concept of FANAA. It's very beautiful. Stop, Morty, stop it.
No, don't look at me. Look at me,
bro.
I'm
like,
look at me.
FANAA is the destruction of the self.
Yes.
It's a process that many Sufis take on to find humility, find the reduction of their self to you want to become a conduit for truth, and you don't want anything related to your ego, your being, filtering out what is truthful in the universe. So in order to understand FANAA correctly, I think if you undergo this process where it's not necessarily about you chanting, destroy me or something like that, or you doing some things that may be considered associated with goofy Sufis, but it's actually a very intellectual process, and it's an intellectual and spiritual process where you are reducing yourself to a state where you are being a conduit for truth. And I think that's freaking beautiful, bro. And I think that is putting yourself in a position where you can experience humiliation, embarrassment, and nothing bothers you because you have no ego.
So what you're not saying is, I think what Mort thinks is, you're saying you intentionally put yourself in humiliating situations.
No. Those guys are the other.
That's not what he's talking about.
Wait, first of all,
basically what he's talking about is experiences of trials and tribulations.
I think
That's what he's talking about.
when we say FANAA in Sufism is a very different term. Okay,
I think Sid just
that's how-
literally
I was
just made that up on the
No,
fly.
he didn't.
No,
He-
no.
Look, can you just look it up real quick?
More, why don't you like explain? Because
No,
I'll
no.
tell you background on this.
Well, I'm just saying.
His experiences with the goofy Sufis.
Yeah, but when they say FANAA, it means like where you're annihilating yourself so that you attain a divine presence, right? That's what FANAA means to them. Yes, it is annihilation, but that can be through any prescription of what between the murshid and the murid, right? Like whatever it may be, like, you know, going in khalwa for like 40 days, right? Or whatever it is, right? There are different things they do. But from what he's saying, like doing certain things, I don't even necessarily think that that's necessarily wrong. There were some of the caliphs of Islam that went and cleaned the bathrooms, or ulama that did that to humble
Muhammad
themselves.
al-Ghazali, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Ghazali went to clean the washrooms.
But that's not what I'm talking. That's not FANAA though.
No.
That's something.
He's saying that you can experience a certain type
humility.
of FANAA through that.
Yeah, but I mean,
FANAA is the annihilation of the self, the ego, the stuff that makes you BS to yourself, so that, oh, my ego needs to be protected. So you lie to yourself. So think about how many times you have made a bad decision, but you gave yourself an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you know what? I stole that one time, but you know what? I didn't have enough money to give my daughter that gift, so I stole that from the store. I'm just making something up. And you excused your wrongdoing for whatever reason, but your ego had to give yourself an excuse. From whatever I've understood with related to FANAA is that you've reduced your ego to a level where it's nothing, and you are not superimposing, or you're not allowing yourself to make excuses for whatever wrongs you've done. You accept the truth, and then you work to change whatever problems that are within your soul, so that lasting change is actually implemented within your mind.
So let me just add on to that, if you don't mind, because some people, there's a misconception, is that once you attain this level, then you're fixed. That's not the case, right? It's a work in progress for the rest of your life.
You're never
I'm
fixed.
not saying you're not saying that. I'm just saying, because I know people sometimes they talk about this and they think that you have to reach this maqam, and then when you reach the maqam, this place, this stage, and then it's over. It's not. It's a work in progress. Look, one of the things that we hate to do the most is to push ourselves physically to the point where your lungs are burning and you just want to give up. Like, for me, when I put myself through that situation, which I rarely do, but when I do, you feel this complete brokenness. And when you're in that state where, let's just say it's cardio and like lots of sprints and then like circuit training or whatever, I'm just using that as an example, right? When you put yourself to such a grueling situation that it's so painful that everything goes on, all you think about is the pain. And then everything, your whole disposition, how you look in front of people, everything changes, and you don't care about that anymore, right? And what ends up happening is you start seeing things for what they are. And there's a small time period while you're recovering still, up until that's finished, and this is the weakness of the human being. Once Allah takes us out of that situation, we usually end up going back to our normal selves, right? But let's just say that you had a crazy, crazy, grueling workout. It was like 10 minutes of you not being able to breathe, and then another 20 minutes, whatever, to come back to baseline again, right? Up until that time, this is what usually happens to me. That recovery period is you start seeing things a lot clearly. You don't even consider doing anything haram, and I think because of the extreme pain that you put yourself through, to this connection with you and Allah, right? Because of this extreme deficiency that you put yourself through, and this challenging. Another good way of describing this is like if somebody walks into a martial arts class or like a jiu-jitsu class, and they're much stronger than somebody, they're much bigger physically, maybe 50, 100 pounds more, and then they get submitted by that person. That's a situation where if somebody doesn't have a healthy ego, it's going to change and crumble their world of whatever they built up about themselves for many, many years, right?
Yeah, and this is
So
that
wait,
ego.
can I just comment on something? Yeah.
Please, Muzzy.
So what you're talking about as far as FANAA, the original sense, like we're talking about Ayyam Junayd al-Baghdadi, their understanding of FANAA was very different.
Yeah.
What they meant is that we accept the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Of course.
Like that, hey, forget about what my opinion is about something. The qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what we accept, right?
Of course.
But he mentions, like Siraj and other people mentioned that later on, that the Sufis started in Baghdad, they ended up taking FANAA into a different area where it meant, one second, hold on. They meant, and for example, the FANAA, which means which actually is in line with Wahdat al-Wujud, which means like Al-Hallaj and Ibn Arabi said that فَأَنَا al-Haq, right? That you can attain divine attributes through FANAA, meaning it's a stage to reach the divine, Haqq al-Yaqeen, right? That's what they agreed. Yeah. So they mentioned, and that's why Al-Hallaj and Ibn Arabi and people like that later on from that line, which most modern Sufis are influenced by, that from FANAA has a very negative connotation.
First of all, I take exception to the allusion or the accusation that most Sufis take from Ibn Arabi. That's incorrect. No, I don't think most Sufis take everything from Ibn Arabi.
Not everything, but they accept his works.
No, and look, they take this whole idea of someone having, just because they have a few problem areas that you discard everything. Yes. For just like the Maulana Ashraf Ali Tanwi that we had the podcast about, he had a couple big major mistakes, but that doesn't mean I discard everything that he wrote about, So what I'm saying is, just because Ibn Arabi wrote about FANAA doesn't mean that he owns the actual meaning of FANAA.
No, it's not him. I'm thinking it started before him. I mean, there are people from the time of al-Baghdadi, Siraj, who mentioned that this started at the time of in Baghdad, and it became a common practice. Yes. It was not just.
And then
Ibn Arabi is a result of that.
It spread to Afghanistan, and then the Malamaris came, and then the Malamaris are the ones who actually do the self-humiliation. They go.
That's a minority.
They go into public and they do humiliating things to embarrass themselves.
Yeah, so like the Hindus.
So they destroyed their self. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about an intellectual process, also combined with the spiritual process, where you are reducing whatever ego you have to allow truth to be understood by you. So that there are problems within human beings where we have set up presuppositions before we want to have a discussion. You guys are on this thing day and night. What's it called? Clubhouse, right? People don't want to listen because they feel like if they concede something, their sense of self is destroyed. Whatever scholar, if we criticize them in whatever capacity, people freak out. I almost swore. They freak the heck out, right? But
you don't have to tell us that.
Did you humble yourself? Did you have a moment of FANAA?
I just thought it was funny that he's talking about FANAA, but he was like, "I'm the most Sufi person here too," which is like the complete opposite of everything. He's like, "You don't brag about how Sufi you are." That's like
what if he means by that is that I'm the most?
See, this is you have not done. That's why you're the real Sufi here, not him.
No, he's not Sufi, bro. He doesn't like being called that.
I mean, whatever a Sufi.
I don't like being called Sheikh either. The way you guys do.
No, but wait.
The fruits of Sufism exist in this individual that I'm pointing to right now.
Wow, you guys should talk to my missus, bro. You guys got to get her take on this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have him.
She's gonna be like him.
I think he's
With him?
Yeah. No, but
She still wants to know why
So-
we moved up in prayer. How you guys moved up in prayer? Why do you have to mention that kind of stuff, bro?
You know what, Sheikh? Sometimes problems happen when you have when you're practicing FANAA like you do.
You practice FANAA?
Yeah, Sheikh. He's sometimes he doesn't want to take the throne. You know, he doesn't want to
By
take
the way,
imam's.
you don't undermine his study in Sufi. He was about to be a part of a tariqa. Remember that?
Yes.
For 3-4 years ago?
Sufyan, I still am waiting for the membership card.
I wasn't going to say which tariqa, but go
Bro,
ahead.
I want to join the what was his
The
tariqa?
Qatanis. He doesn't remember the other day. I remember it. It was the Qatanis.
Oh my God!
There-
In Morocco.
Sufyan was in the group earlier. He like bounced. I pulled
Yeah,
back.
but
like,
wait. So I think what he's talking about tazkiyah. Yeah, Amir.
Yeah.
He's talking about
I'm not talking
tazkiyah.
about, I'm talking about FANAA.
Yeah, but tazkiyah, bro. This is what you're talking about. Where you have to
It
humble yourself.
sounds so cool too. Why are you guys so hating on
Because-
FANAA?
because
dude?
it
I'm
has
not
a-
hating, bro.
No,
I
I'm not
want to hear you out,
hating,
bro.
but it has a very different connotation.
We need
today.
to redefine FANAA and take it back
Yeah,
from
fine,
Ibn
say
Arabi.
that.
Okay, how's that?
No, it's not Ibn Arabi. I'm saying there are. I'm saying after the time. of
I feel like
Junayd
this
and-
entire discussion is a complete like cluster.
Yeah,
It's
but
kind of fun.
Cluster bomb?
No. Well, no, I think in essence what he's saying is that the idea of humbling yourself
Yeah.
and recognizing that there is something beyond your control, and that you accept the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that you are not willing to be arrogant, because arrogant is the attribute of the shaitan, right?
Yeah.
These are things that we understand, right? But the ayah in the Quran, you know, those-
Sufyan's gonna be joining us shortly. I told him
Inshallah.
like, yo,
Yeah,
Sufi-
they don't
like come
want-
out here and like teach us something, dude.
Yeah, but they don't-
Tell him to come on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Can you join Clubhouse?
Yeah, he's on Clubhouse. I told him he
Go
was in a
ahead,
room earlier.
Guys, Morty's
Yeah.
turning
Yeah,
red
yeah.
because you're
So
saying.
you can,
My bad, I'm sorry, Morty.
So the thing is that like that whole thing is there, but then the problem is that it's taken and it's kind of gone to a whole new level. And
Yeah.
like because FANAA, this idea we don't even find in any of the hadith. We don't. This is something invented later on, right? So
Yes.
it could have been something good by categorization. Hold on, the concepts are found in the hadith, no doubt. But I mean about not being arrogant and to be humble. And the ayah in the Quran, those who walk upon the earth humbly, right? They don't walk with arrogance. Those are all found there, but the concept, how they define it, has changed drastically from the time of Junayd al-Baghdadi.
Let me clarify. Okay,
Sufyan's in the room, by the way.
If there, what
Done.
I am talking about, okay, before we get to Sufyan, what I am talking about is not the Wahdat al-Wujud related, the unity of existence, that we are all God, and by reducing our humility to molecular levels, subatomic levels, I don't know what, that you're somehow attaining some level of divinity. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm talking about a reduction of the self, the ego, reducing that so that you are able to inherit truth from the universe, from your relationships, from society, and any other interaction you have with the world, that you are able to discern truth from falsehood and make good decisions, good conclusions based on truth, objective truth.
Can I just
Go ahead.
even summarize even more simply what I think you're saying, and I agree with you 100%. Look, there's a reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very, very specific in the Quran and why he tells us to establish our prayers, right? Now, just listen to where I'm going with this. Everything we do outside of our salah affects our salah itself.
Yeah.
So what tazkiyat al-nafs, tasawwuf, a'mal al-qulub, suluk, all of those synonymous terminologies, all stemming from ihsan, right? Ihsan meaning to worship Allah as if you see Him, and if you don't see Him, know that He sees you. Everything that you've done outside of your salah is going to bring you to this type of humility in your salah. That's the reason that nothingness is what in salah is when your head and your nose and your hands and your knees and your feet are on the floor for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? That complete nothingness, everyone is going to have a different level of nothingness when they're in sajda. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand that, but
Yeah. So listen to what I'm saying.
go ahead, yeah.
So everything that we've done now outside of our salah is a tool to bring our nothingness in front of Allah at the time of salah.
yeah.
All of the studies that people do as far as tazkiyat an-nafs and purification of the soul, one of the original understandings was to bring someone, the tazkiyat an-nafs and all the stuff that you do, like in your instance, like FANAA, is something that brings someone to a level where they're going to leave their sleep, stand up in the middle of the night, and do tahajjud in front of Allah. Right? Because everyone else is asleep. There's no other proof to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when everyone else is asleep in their beautiful sleep. and you're standing up in front of Allah in the last third of the night, for instance, then you've destroyed everything about yourself and you're nothing in front of Allah. Right? Now, that's why I'm saying all these things are tools. You're talking about FANAA, and there's all these things are tools to bring ourselves and nothingness in front of Allah. That's why everything revolves around our salah.
I understand
You know what I'm
all that, but those are what you're talking about are actual rituals. But I'm talking about intellectual rigor as well.
I agree with you. That has to take place.
Yeah.
But the nothingness that we're showing, what I'm talking about is the nothingness. That intellectual rigor is supposed to bring us to the point where we do sajda in front of Allah. Like for instance, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Ali Imran, Surah Al-Nisa. In one rak'ah, his sujood is longer than all the 3 surahs that he read.
Yeah.
Why was he in sajda for so long? And what was he saying?
And what was
Right?
he thinking?
Exactly. Right? So what I'm saying is, that mental rigor that you're talking about is supposed to lead you to bring your head to the floor for Allah.
Khushu'.
Do you understand what I'm saying? With complete nothingness. And then yearning for that feeling of being with Allah all the time. Because you've given up on everything else and you're nothing in front of everything else. You're nothing in front of Allah and nothing else matters to you anymore. But now you see this extreme value in putting your head on the floor for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right?
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is, of course, I agree with that. And I was actually agreeing with you. I wasn't disagreeing with you. But I'm saying what you're saying now is there's a next step after that, though. What is that leading us to do? Right? That intellectual rigor, and it's leading us to the servitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Through our limbs and through our sajda and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm not saying that you just seclude yourself and just pray and you forget about everything. No, now you have a responsibility because now people are your pathway to Jannah. You know what I'm saying? If you wrong Allah, you just ask for forgiveness. If you wrong somebody, you have to go and personally ask them forgiveness, or Allah's not going to forgive you. So people are our pathway to Jannah. And that's how merciful Allah is. If you do Allah wrong, he'll be like, I'm all forgiving. But if you do somebody else wrong, that's how just he is. You have to go to that person. You have to rectify that with them, right?
Yeah.
So now there's that thing of action with other people, the creation of Allah, right?
Yeah.
That Allah created. That you have to also be very. That's what this intellectual rigor and this FANAA should lead to. I'm not saying that you're not saying this, but I'm saying that after this is in a work in progress, that thing should be branching out to other things as far as showing your nothingness to Allah. Like, you know how difficult it is, like sometimes for some people to go and serve people, especially if they're not used to it. They weren't brought up like going and serving people and helping like homeless people, for instance. There's just a small example that I'm using. Right? Yeah. Helping a homeless people, giving them clothes, putting clothes on them. There's some people that used to do that in the past to get rid of their arrogance, and that humility that you're talking about is people who haven't bathed in a long time. Forget about homeless. Just people who haven't bathed in a long time. They didn't have access to water, and actually like helping them and putting clothes on for them. Right? That requires a lot of not just mental fortitude, but that requires a lot of sabr. That requires a lot of diminishing yourself, because you could be like, if you got money, you'd be like, dude, I'm just gonna pay somebody to do that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, I really think about when I hear this, like that kind of tazkiyah. The story that was when about Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhu, when he was the Khalif. Abu Umar used to follow him, and he used to go into his house at nighttime. And Umar was like, where is he going at nighttime? Like, why is he going to his house at nighttime? So one day he went into the home at nighttime, and there was an old blind woman sitting there, and I think it was something about, maybe you recall the story, but she used to drop off dates. So he brought dates. I think he brought a sack of dates with him, but she recognized that it was not Abu Bakr because he used to give me dates with the pits taken out of it. Right? Like he used to open all the dates and take the pits out and give it. But going in the middle of the night as the Khalif, of the Muslim world and empire, and like at nighttime when everyone's asleep, nobody's knowing what you're doing. You're going and you're giving this stuff. That's humbling, right? You could easily have a servant go and do that. You could have any one of your soldiers go do that. Or Umar radiallahu anhu used to carry the flour on his back and go and blow to the point where he get dust in his beard.
But making rounds every night himself.
But why? Because not only because he wanted the ajr, but because he felt his responsibility.
Of course,
responsibility is a key. And ad-din mu'amilah. Like he felt like, even Umar used to say, I worry about the animals.
Yeah, dude.
If they're going to complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they were carrying too much load.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that when I think tazkiyah and I think like humbling one, I think this is like, it should make you have khushu'.
Yeah.
Like where you're in this position where you're in a constant remembrance.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It scared me for a second. Felt like I was in a nightmare.
You've been cutting me off all night, bro.
No,
What's wrong with you?
Wallahi, I was trying to picture.
You're a shaitan, bro.
I was trying to.
Anyway,
Our sheikh is waiting in the room, and I was trying to have a picture of him ready to go. And I clicked on
forgot.
his
Sorry,
face.
Sufyan. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, Sheikh Amr's rambling on. We ain't trying to hear you.
I
now.
completely forgot.
The,
No, go ahead.
the real Sheikh is in that
Sufyan,
stage.
tafaddal, bismillah, man. My bad, bro.
Go ahead.
Sufyan, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
His name is Junior?
Junior
Yeah.
DeSantos.
His name is also Sufyan, bro. Take it easy.
I love the accent, dude.
Assalamu alaikum. What's up, man?
I know. Hey, man, it don't get no more Sufi theme than this. I'm sitting over here in the veranda overlooking Fort Lauderdale right now, drinking a coffee, listening to you dudes over here shooting each other, calling each other shayateen.
It's the wildlife of Chicago, bro.
Hey, I don't know if you got used to this. Remember when you and me went to Starbucks together and you ordered your coffee in a southern accent? Is that what you're doing right now, too?
Yeah, something like that.
Dude, he pulled off the best southern accent. He ordered a whole entire...
No, it's like his real thing now because he's working down in Kentucky, right, or Southern Ohio. So you picked it up, right?
I work all over, yeah. All over that area anyway.
So, anyways, I pinged you in because Sim made a statement.
Why are you
that-
laughing at him, bro? Sim is serious about this.
So
It's so hard for
Sim
me
is
to
like,
believe.
I almost gave a bayah, but I was waiting on an invite from Sufyan. Oh, what was the name of that order again? I was like, you know what? Let me just ping this dude up.
Sufyan, it was a legit mental block, man. I know the Qatani tariqa, and I've done research about you guys, and I'm legitimately have so much respect for you guys. And this punk over here sitting to my right, it's just he's trying to embarrass me because I couldn't remember the name like that, because
You're multitasking right now.
There's a lot of Sufi orders. Sometimes you get some mixed up and you don't want to say the wrong one.
You're so cute sometimes, the way you explain things. Adorable, I should say. Go ahead.
So my deepest apologies to you and the elder Qatanis.
So what's the problem, though?
Oh, we were trying to understand the concept of FANAA.
Yeah.
And some brothers here, I don't want to mention their name, they're saying that this concept is related to Ibn Arabi's problematic
That's not
writings.
what he said.
No, listen.
That's
listen.
not what I said.
Okay, not you, but
I said-
okay. So there was an allusion made. There was some commentary made that kind of meant to discredit the idea of what FANAA means. FANAA, which, if anyone is just joining the episode, it means the annihilation of the self. And can you provide some feedback, some help to help us understand this concept? Jazakallah khair.
I got an issue whenever I hear somebody going after Ibn Arabi that way.
My God, that's why I like
You were
you,
just
bro.
clowning him, dude.
What are you talking about, bro? I was saying don't
Wait,
discredit.
let him finish. Dude, Sufyan waited for a while. Let's let him finish.
Okay,
you
Sufyan, go ahead. I just want to make
Thank
sure,
you.
like, this BS.
I need to mute Mahin. Go ahead, please. I apologize, Sheikh. This is not how. This is not how.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Bob, you done?
Go ahead.
Take it. All right. So when people go after Ibn Arabi like this, I like to remind people, and this is something Sheikh Hamza al-Qatani told me and several of his other students on several occasions, actually, that Ibn Arabi's works aren't for everyone. You don't just go grab his works and start picking through them thinking that you're going to be able to understand everything. A lot of the language that's in there is very complex. The themes that are addressed are very complex, and they're just not for the average Joe to be able to read, right? And this has come up in the past. So what are you saying, that only your people can understand Ibn Arabi? No, that's not what's being said. But what is being said is basically the same concept as when Musa went to Khidr, right? Musa alayhi salam had knowledge from Allah Azza wa Jalla. He went to Khidr to learn from him, and he thought he understood. And then when he finally met Khidr and went through the trials he went through with Khidr, he really didn't understand what Khidr was up to. And it's that simple. It's not that complicated. We don't hold the keys to sacred knowledge Nobody does, least of all Ibn Arabi, but at the very least, the man is dead. And if we can't agree on anything else, we can agree on the fact that we should respect the dead, right?
Yeah. No, we're not disrespecting Sheikh Ibn Arabi, nor we
So
do.
can I define my position now? Instead of you putting words in my mouth, can I define it now?
Hang on. It's
Yeah,
just,
no,
it's just
I
very
think-
important that
he
we
hasn't talked about FANAA.
Morty,
He's not
Morty,
talking about
one
FANAA.
sec,
But I
can
think
you-
I need to. I think I need to make the lay so you understand where the conversation is. I think you just took off into a different conversation.
Listen,
so hold on one second.
Go ahead.
So what he was talking about, and to bring everything tied back down, he was saying FANAA is the idea of annihilating oneself so that you become humble. And so what I said was, this is generally correct under the understanding of Junaid al-Baghdadi in that time and that era. But somewhere in the time of in Baghdad, some of the scholars went out, and it became something more than what it is than just that. And there are problems with people today in the modern time, in the modern text. Some people understand this to mean, like in terms of in attaining a divine presence, or like in a Gnostic sense, where they're trying to become divine in a sense, and that has become associated with that, unfortunately. And
But here's the thing: we're like you can't for the love of God, this is going to happen, right? It started off like that during Junaid's time, right? And Junaid wasn't the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So being as though Junaid wasn't the Prophet, whatever he brought forth was his understanding of what FANAA was, right? And he tried to make it accessible to the people during his time, as did his successors and those after him. But that's the problem with these general concepts, is that at one point or another, somebody's going to interpret them in a general sense, right? And those generalities are left up in the air for interpretation, and they're going to keep getting picked at. Now, dude, there's people out there. There's a tariqa in Morocco right now. I'm not one to talk bad about nobody, but these dudes will actually do drugs and consort with the jinn. And they call they call this the concept of annihilation and getting closer to God through these means. Now, it don't take a rocket scientist to understand that whatever they're doing is just wrong. But there are people that buy into it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because these concepts are so general, that maybe somebody's that eloquent that they can put a spin on weed or hashish and bring it over to somebody and they'll buy it. You get what I'm saying?
no, of course, but I mean, and so I guess what I was trying to say was that generally, from when I hear the word FANAA, especially, it's something that always has like this cloud over, right? So when you say FANAA, people are associating with. It's important to distinguish what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Because
and remember, he comes from a background where he's speaking from his. I can be fair here. He's speaking from the background that he came up with, right?
We can rewind the episode. You guys laughed when I talked about FANAA.
yeah,
I didn't laugh.
Yeah,
What are you
because you were
talking
talking about how you want to annihilate yourself, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I left when you said you were the most Sufi person here.
Yeah.
So what? So what? Now,
Yeah.
can you, Sufyan, Sheikh Sufyan, can you please help us understand how you understand FANAA, and how what we can gather from it, what we can learn from it, utilize it to whatever benefit we can to get closer to God Almighty, Azza wa Jal.
As far as FANAA is concerned, right? From the Arabic language, its grammatical meaning is the I guess it's the act of erasing something or doing away with something altogether, right? Extinguishing something. I guess the way you're trying to apply it, the way that the Sufis apply it, it depends on your background, right? It depends on, how can I say this? I was talking to my wife, right? My wife's very progressive and I'm very conservative. So, I told my wife that there are certain issues that I will listen to her on, but there are others that I won't, because she's working from a framework of knowledge, right? whether it's political, religious, or whatever, there's a framework that you're working from, and that framework unfortunately blinds you to anything that's outside of that. It's human nature to do this, right? So even with FANAA, even with concepts of tasawwuf, concepts of religion, concepts of ethics, concepts of epistemology, concepts of politics, whatever, right? If you're working from a framework, then you're going to understand those things from that framework. That's just human nature, once again. So if you're asking for like the Sufi definition of finesse, distinguish yourself in the worship of God. There's no difference, right, between that, and I believe Sheikh Amr mentioned this, right? That it's based on ihsan. أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. Right? Or what was that feller's name? I forget. He was a poet from Morocco. He was talking about prayer, and he mentioned in this poetry. Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember, but the basic meaning of the piece of poetry was that you have people that don't take from prayer anything but looking at the Imam, because in the Maliki Madhab you look forward, so looking at the Imam and standing in the prayer. Yeah. You might find them standing on top of their mat, their prayer mat, but their hearts are in the marketplace buying and selling. Yeah. Whereas Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, right, that إِنَّ الْمُصَلِّي فِي مُنَاجَاتِ رَبِّهِ, right, and that the person who's the practitioner of prayer, he's in conversation with his Lord, right? And I guess the end result of FANAA is to lead yourself to remove and polish out of you all of the bad that you have in you, which is impossible. There's no way you're going to be able to do that. Yeah. But you're going to work at it day after day after day after day, and you're going to try to replace all of those bad things with good things. Now, whether or not you're going to be able to reach that, that's up to God Almighty. But the better you become at it, the closer you get to God. That's the whole concept of it.
Beautiful, beautifully said, Sheikh. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I know you messaged me a few days ago, and I was think at work or something, but let's catch up later, inshallah.
By the way, right. I like the way Sheikh, you said feller. That was pretty dope. Feller. Yeah. Some feller said in a poem that was pretty dope, dude. Not gonna lie.
All right, guys.
I think it was pretty cool.
Let's have you guys heard about this one conference that's happening?
Oh boy, here we go.
Which conference?
This is why I read Surah Al-Hamza. Nothing.
Surah Al-Hamza?
Humaza. Yeah.
What about it?
Are you gonna pull it up? The conference thing? Are you? Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Because I forgot the details of it.
The conference, Sheikh, it was about.
Nothing.
It was entitled Modern Prophets.
That's what it was.
Have you heard about it?
Yes.
The Modern Prophets is a conference that's being held.
The modern. It's not even the real name.
What's the name?
Keep going. I want to see where this ends. Keep going.
Oh.
So confused. Wait, what just happened?
Spotlight's on you, camera. Yes, Mahim, why don't you talk about it?
You said the conference called the Modern Prophets, right?
It's not. No, they just had a little headline saying "Learn from the Modern Prophets."
Right, but that's not the name of the conference. So
of course not. That's not the conference. Oh my God! I just got technical here. Excuse me. According to my calculations.
I mean, we have to be representing the other side appropriately first.
Oh my God! Do you think they give us that kind of benefit of doubt?
No, but if we are going to be a Sufi, then we should try to practice this.
I see what he's doing. What a punk! What's the name of the conference?
Let me look it up real quick.
Something about prophets, dude.
It's something about love. It's about
love. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about like the love in something.
Oh, extreme lover? No.
حب الدنيا كراهية الموت.
That was a good one. That was a good one, though. That was good timing.
Okay.
No, it's a Kafir conference.
Yeah,
how dare you say that Irshad Manji's Muslim?
Okay. Is
Huh?
No, it's not. I'm talking about the organizer like kafar.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I think that's from what I can tell.
Hmm.
I mean, not. I mean, genuinely, like they're not like they don't claim to be
It's
Muslims.
not organized by Muzzies.
Yeah, they don't claim to be Muslims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're non-Muslims organizing.
Rashad
it.
Manji is not the one that's organizing it. She's
I
just
know.
yeah. Okay, just.
I
No,
think
because-
that all the
you know,
speakers
because
are.
now you're gonna think I'm making takfir of people who call themselves Muslims.
I don't think anything.
Yeah, you
bad
have.
of
I know.
people.
I see the smirk on your face.
So this is something from a company or a organization called the Middle Church, and the conference is called the Revolutionary Love Conference. It sounds very hippie-ish from the 70s.
Middle Church. I like their name too because they know that Muslims are the middle ummah. But anyways, they're gonna
Or
try.
we're from Middle Earth.
Towards a
Lord
more
of the
perfect
Rings.
union, revolutionary love. Are you attending?
Depends.
Might be able to get you on the panel.
Well,
Does that change anything?
That'd be hilarious.
It depends
What
on-
if Sims are on the panel?
It depends on what their honorarium is.
Hmm.
Do you guys pay well?
I'm sure we
pay
can.
me in Bitcoin.
So do you guys have? Is there like a bit of an agenda or something on there where speakers and what they're going to be talking about, or
It's probably about the right to love, meaning gay stuff. Probably, I bet you something like
I think we should attend and then like be able to like
that. No
you know,
boundaries on love. Love anything, everybody. It could be interfaith. You know what I mean?
Somebody said it was Irshad Manzi. I was like, isn't that Sanjay Gupta? I was like, no. Like, can't I always get them two
She
mixed
was
up.
like one of the original people who claimed to be a Muslim that came out as lesbian.
yeah,
Like back, along with
rephrasing the Quran
with
and all
Faisal
that.
Alam, back in like
Yeah, he was from the '90s, bro.
yeah, but he really got to prominence in like 2000s after 9/11 when he was on, I think the first quote unquote gay Muslim to be on a gay float in New York City on the parade, like the Pride Parade. He was like
Very
dancing
cute.
around or something like that.
This is a conference, April 15th to the 18th. I'm going to be out of town at those dates, so I won't be able to
But it's
make
virtual, dude.
Is it here or is
It's
it like,
virtual. You,
Oh,
you
virtual.
just need a computer. Yeah, you can be
I think I'll be
virtual.
on the airplane.
I wonder if they're going to be fasting.
For the
whole
whole
day?
3 days.
Do you
No.
think they're going to be fasting over there?
Is it during Ramadan?
Yeah.
Yeah, April
Let's click on
14th.
this.
It's
About-
probably when it's starting.
We
Ramadan,
stand on the precipice of something new. Innovators already.
Let's examine this through the lens of Husna done. Why don't we do that for a change?
Wait, let's see. Living in these times. Hold on.
We only have
wait,
Husnul in Muslims,
how
bro.
are you? We can't
We don't
read
have
this thing.
Husnul with the kuffar. The kuffar by default want harm against you. How do you like that?
Thank you, Sheikh.
Can
Thank
we
you,
at least
Sheikh.
read
This
the
guy,
intro?
What about the Muslims that are on the panel?
Yeah,
We should have
I guess.
there
yeah.
are the Muslims on the
Let's
panel.
say that they think what they're doing is right, inshallah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the agenda? Can you pull that back
Yeah,
up, sir?
can we at least like read the introduction?
All
Because I
right.
didn't even see it.
Imagine leaders being held accountable. Okay, so we already know this is social justice stuff. Trigger warnings are probably in effect here.
Imagine revolutionary.
What is fierce and just love? How does that shape public ethics? Yeah, but I want you to scroll up though, the actual body. I don't want topics. Go up, scroll up. No, down. There's a middle paragraph. There you go. Living in these times have been challenging, disorienting, and deeply divisive for all of us. The litany of threats and concerns.
You're on a show, bro. You got to speak into the
yeah,
microphone.
I know, but hold on. I can't because you're blowing it up there. Okay, I gotta. Hold on, wait. A divisive government and the devolution of our understanding.
Hey, hang on. I'm making big for you, bro. Here you go.
No, yeah.
Here you go.
A divisive government and the devolution of our understanding of the truth, expanded economic disparity, the rollback of voting rights, the blatant expression of racism and xenophobia, the assault on our environment, the impact of a pandemic, and the very dismantling of our democracy has resulted in fear, alienation, explosive violence, and institutional collapse. The abandonment of moral principles and the absence of a unifying national vision has left the search for the common good in tatters. And yet, we stand on the precipice of something new.
Precipice.
Is it precipice or precept?
No, precipice.
Precipice. Okay, of something new in the moment. Our ability to imagine a loving future is more crucial than ever. We will never secure the just world we all deserve if we don't have the moral courage to dream what it will look like. In April, we will gather artists, activists, faith leaders, present-day prophets, and anyone whose conscience has been set ablaze. Together we shall chart a course to take us there. We particularly focus on artist roles in our collective dreaming, in the power of writing new stories and lifting up new storytellers to challenge or to change our collective narrative. So it seems like they're just trying to tackle the I think the xenophobia that was happening, like from the right wing, probably. It seems like.
Probably.
Who's on the panel? Does it have a list of names?
Yeah. There's a.
No,
So
on that website, I'm saying.
Yeah, on the website they do. If you go back to the website, it should say, speakers or no. Go up to the
Speakers
top.
corner?
No, speakers. Scroll down. Wajahat Ali.
Waji.
The guy who says Allahu Akbar when he poops.
He was joking when he said
Yeah,
that.
I know.
That's
Amanda Hambrick Ashcraft. Reverend. She's a reverend.
She's probably one of these compassionate Christians.
Maybe. I mean,
Like
obviously.
they call them the hardcore Pentecostals. Call them the lukewarm Christians. Yeah.
I don't want to mispronounce that. Wise Baker. I don't know if it's a Diatra
No, bro,
or
it's Michael,
Diatra.
it's Michael Strahan. Keep going.
William J. Barber II. Oh, he looked like that guy who remember the guy who got those KKK turning the robes? Remember the black guy who was
Is that him?
No. Yeah, I thought it was him for a second, but it's not him.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, but he looks very similar to that guy, right? Anyways, he's a pastor of a Greenleaf Christian church. Okay, scroll down.
So, okay, first alarm I see is the pronouns.
Yeah, I see it. She, her. Genesis B or Bay. I don't know. Is that Bay or B? I don't know.
All right, intersectionality. Oh, she's Muslim.
Oh,
okay.
queer, Muslim, biracial, black woman.
Oh, hell no, bro.
All right,
This is Mine's crew, bro. He wants to make.
We gotta still done. Yeah, we keep
Tracy
going.
Blackman.
She's
She's the executive minister of Justice and Witness Ministry of the United Church of Christ and the senior pastor of the Christ the King Church.
These might be future guests on Sultan Sneakers too.
Exactly. Stole the words out of our mouth.
Wow.
I'm like, these are people you would be inviting soon.
Wait, keep going, bro.
He's probably got their Twitter handles.
Yeah, can
Yeah,
we
like,
go
by the
back
way,
and
if
finish it?
anybody here wants a platform that on this panel, Sultan Sneakers is open.
Yeah.
We are open to everybody.
Scroll down. More. Sharon Bruce. It's Rabbi Sharon Bruce. I'm sorry. She, her is a rabbi. Okay, well, we know that's...
She looks like that Heather Dinich, that chick on ESPN, who does college football like polls.
Oh, I can't... yeah, maybe.
Okay. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah,
Simone Campbell.
Simone Campbell. By the way, you know what they're going to say is they're going to say, how dare you judge the look of that woman. You don't judge the look of the man. You're a sexist, misogynist, Maheen.
I mean, you balanced it out. You judged the dude.
Yeah, but I'm good, but you're not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't do that because you're not a female. You can't talk about it. Mark Charles. His is a speaker, writer, and consultant, the son of an American woman of Dutch heritage and Navajo man. Wow. Do you think they mentioned that it was Dutch to avoid the Anglo-Saxon thing? Like, I have nothing to do with...
White people?
No, because Dutch are whites, but meaning
Right.
that's not Anglo-Saxon. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways, Aaron Cunahan.
The pastor.
The Reverend.
The Reverend.
Let's just
okay.
scroll down. I want to see the muzzies on there. I want to see what's
There's
up.
yeah. I mean, Miguel de la Torre. Gabby DeVoe, Kelly Brown, Anjuane Ellis.
No one. Okay. So,
Oh, wow. Catherine Fugate, Anu Gupta, Dura Hamilton II, Lee Ashton, John Jaffa.
anyway, these guys, they've whether it's
Damn, there's a lot of
metaphorically
people.
or literally.
Van
Van
Jones.
Jones, everyone's crybaby.
No.
Bro, this
Okay.
guy, he was convinced.
This is like this is grifter number one on the Hotep awards.
This guy is world class number one.
Valerie Carr. Oh, wow. She must be, I think she's, yeah.
Okay, that's enough.
Wait, I think that's the only Muzzies? Go down. That's it?
We see another.
No,
I know.
he's a Hindu.
Okay, I think this is enough. There's just so many.
I just wanted to go down. We're almost there. Look at the right. Just scroll down. Oh, there.
Here's shot mind G. Everyone's favorite knucklehead. Where'd she go?
I don't know. You go.
Oh, there
I was
she
hoping
is.
they would have an agenda to see what they're talking
Is a
about.
winner of Oprah Winfrey's first.
Chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
Annual
What?
Chutzpah Award for boldness. Being bold for what? Trying to reform it. Anyways. A founder of the Moral Courage Project, Irshad equips people to do the right thing in the face of fear. She discovered her mission through a deeply personal journey. In 2003, Irshad released The Trouble with Islam Today, an open letter to her fellow Muslims about why misogyny and oppressions must end in the name of Allah. In 2007, Irshad turned the book into an Emmy-nominating PBS film, Faith Without Fear. In 2011, she published Allah, Liberty, and Love, which shows how Islam can be reinterpreted for the 21st century. Along the way, Irshad became a professor of moral courage, first teaching at New York University and now lecturing at Oxford University's Initiative for Global Ethics and Human Rights. Irshad's latest book is Don't Label Me. In our deeply polarized times, she says standing for what is right is not enough to make progress. We must also learn. Sorry, there's something hovering over there. I can't read it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. We must also learn to hear the quote unquote other. Labeling is easy, but listening is a form of moral courage. Imagine. So, do you want to listen to the patriarchy? I mean, since if having a conversation, but anyways, it's an interesting panel. I mean, I'm wondering it may not be all about interfaith. It may be about just combating xenophobia and encouraging tolerance. And I'm okay with that on the surface level, as long as they're not trying to force anyone to accept what they believe. Like, if you're okay with saying, hey, we have our beliefs and you have yours, and if you're welcome to have yours, I'm cool with that. But if they say that, you know what, no, you have to accept our premise too. If not, you're canceled and you're a misogynist and you're a patriarch and you're
Which premise do you think they're going to tell people? Do you actually have faith in them to actually...
I think they're going to paint I don't think they'll boldly say that you either with us or against. I think what they're going to do is they're going to frame it so that people who have a different viewpoint than them are racist, misogynist, anti-women, anti-homophobic.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but they're not going to say it, but they're going to frame it that way so that how could you not embrace us? We're calling for these universal human values. Are you against human rights? Like, it'll be like that kind of framing,
So basically, these people consider themselves the inheritors of the prophets. Even if it's symbolically, even if they're not literally speaking, they're metaphorically implying that, hey, we are the leaders of the new revolution. This clown car of idiots are now have positioned themselves to be leaders of humanity, that they are the people who will give moral direction to the world. And I think that's at least what we need to. It's not about them declaring themselves literal prophets. We're not idiots here, and we're saying, we're getting hung up on a technical term related to them being calling themselves a modern day prophets. That's not what the issue is at all. It's them positioning themselves as
leaders and influencers in society, and meaning like prophetic examples of people. For people.
Yeah, even
Christians, because the church that's running this, right?
Yeah.
Their term for prophets is a little different than ours, right?
Correct.
They use prophets differently than we do.
Yeah, but so do the Qadiani too. So.
Yeah, but technically they end at the toilet guy. I mean, right there. Oh, am I okay? I can't say. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, wait, what? No, you're fine.
Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. Are you okay? Okay.
I was always okay with it. I thought I thought he was about to say we're going to end this right now, and you said we're going to end with the guy. They ended with the guy in the toilet.
No,
so
I said they end it with the guy in the toilet.
Yeah. All right, guys. And do you guys have any of your clubhouse friends waiting to raise their hands? Are they waiting to speak?
Well, there was one, but I'm not really. I don't know. He wasn't. He's using the Shia rooms. I really don't care.
Yeah. I saw that too. I was like, hard pass.
Yeah, he's like one of the guys that just probably ran about something about how
does Fahad Khan. You want to jump on stage?
Maybe Fahad Khan can talk about what he feels.
Maybe you can talk about FANAA.
Maybe he can, yeah.
No, he can talk about this kind of conference because this is kind of their space.
This is where they're.
He's jumping in. Relax. All right, I just invited him. Cool. Assalamu alaikum, Fahad.
Walaikum salam. Wait, what am I jumping into? I just got in.
Fahad,
you're in deep trouble now, young man.
Welcome to the show, Fahad Khan, a previous guest. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you Android users doing?
Ramadan Mubarak, bro. We're not. Android. Well, I don't know what's going on.
Because this clubhouse.
You guys
because this is just Mort and his clubhouse thing. He's all day, every day. He's on this place. He's having a
with
great
this guy
time.
too. Tag team with this
Yeah,
guy.
and Maheen. And there's a
How's
few
Sheikh
other-
Amr doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good, bro. How you doing, my man?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well.
Father
Nice.
Khan, you heard about this conference called the Modern Day what?
Modern Day love or something?
Modern
Revolutionary love.
Revolutionary love. And I know, like, you being in the field of, therapy and psychology, you're invited to a lot of different strange spaces where there's a dubious cast of characters on certain panels. Not every panel, I'm sure there's many panels you're on. That's perfectly well and good. But sometimes you just are invited to a conference where there are strong disagreements you have with the people on that panel, and you have to share a stage with them. Can you talk us through specifically what the situation is related to the modern day therapy world, where there's so much of this wokeness? Who's got their phone playing?
Oh, there's
So
that.
yeah, but basically there's a whole lot of this woke imagery or dialogue that's happening. How are you able to navigate through this and help our listeners through this?
Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot.
He's like, I didn't
Put
sign
my
up for
license
this.
on the spot
I just thought I
too.
was gonna say hi.
So wait, I don't know about this conference first of all, but I think I understand your question. So there are a lot of challenges. I think the challenges that psychologists face. Sorry, I'm out of breath because I'm walking and I'm fat. But the challenges that we psychologists face are no different than any other Muslims that are living in the modern times. And I think the way we navigate them should be the same as any Muslim should navigate. And I think Sheikh Amr can probably answer this better. But what I do is I remind myself of what Tawheed is and who is the Allah that we're supposed to worship. And I have to constantly remind myself of that and all the other isms out there in any field, in any category, and all the other idols that exist, whether they exist inside of me or outside of me, are nothing but a form of shirk, whether it might be a minor or a major form. And if I do that constantly, so far I think I have been protected. And if I have deviated, may Allah, help me and guide
What
me.
a gentleman.
And that's what I do.
MashaAllah.
Fahad Khan, you're always a gentleman.
That's FANAA.
You could totally have taken this opportunity to blast your fellow colleagues, but you didn't. No. I mean, you could have.
Oh,
but-
like
I can be, let me be honest, right? Because here's the thing. There's so many to blast. So if I start blasting here, there's gonna be shots fired everywhere, bomb
no,
blasts
but
everywhere.
Fahad, between you and me, there's a lot of crazies in the mental health field, and I'm not talking about the patients. I'm talking about the actual therapists, the healers,
the
bro.
therapists.
Fahad, man. There are a lot of issues related to mental health therapists not necessarily being the best healers for their patients.
Yeah, Fahad, can I just interject for one second? I want to just describe a moment that me and Fahad, or I witnessed Fahad going through on Clubhouse. So there was, I think, a fellow psychologist in the same room that he was in. I could be wrong, but I think, or a therapist or something. If I remember correctly, the room title was, "Can you still have friends of the opposite gender post-marriage?" Right? And it was a room full of Muslims, by the way, right? Oh, by Muslims, I guess presumably for Muslims, right? So they're all talking about all this thing, and like someone goes, "Hey, Fahad, he's really a psychologist. Can we bring him on?" So he's like, "Yeah." So he comes on, right? And mashallah, he gives them good advice. Well, it's not just about the psychology aspect of it, but human nature, but also what Allah says in about these issues, kind of bringing it back to the deen. And they rudely interrupted and they go, no, we don't want to hear about the religious stuff. Like, oh, we don't want to, and he was just like, whoa, okay. And he was so polite, mashallah, like he didn't slap back, but like that's how, like, they didn't even, like, they were trying to advise Muslims with like removing the Islam from the advice, which is very strange. I don't know if you caught that or not, Fahad.
Bro, forget that. I'll do you one better. Okay, yesterday there was a room, and the title of the room was, "What is your perception of God?" Okay, that was the title of the room. And when somebody was talking, one of my friend Abdullah was in there, and then one of the moderators says, "Okay, let's not bring religion into this." And so I was like, "What? Like, your title of the room is, 'What's your perception of God?' And you didn't want us to bring religion into this. Like, how do you, like, it was like mind-boggling. I didn't even know how to ask the question, but I was like, how would one not talk about God, or talk about God but not religion? So then they were like, no, but there are people who believe in God, but they're not religious. I said, then you should title the room, "What's your perception of a higher power?" You know, but you can't bring that in. And then we have Pakistani rooms every day. Whenever you go and you talk about religion, they're like, "Oh, let's not talk about religion." I'm like, "This is Islamic Republic of Pakistan." You know, like the majority of the country is Muslim, whether you like it or not. This is going to be about religion. If you don't like it, you know, leave the country. You've already left the religion. Get out of the country.
Leave the clubhouse.
Stop calling yourself Pakistanis.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is that like he has tried to reach out on and like really given like this, you know, trying to be like the Muslim professional psychologist, and I've seen different cases. I'm forgetting some of them now, but what Sim is saying is right, man. There are people who are like trying to find that niche market and focusing on the Muslim community, and like they're not really even concerned about Islam.
No, they're not even concerned about mental health therapy. They're concerned about spreading an ideological frame of thinking, and certain types of thinkers related to feminism or Marxist thoughts that are creeping into the world of mental health therapy. And it's not necessarily about the patient anymore, but actually about spreading the woke culture, the critical race theory ideas that stem from it, you know. Yeah. So I know I kind of put Fahad in a difficult situation where he works with these people like day in day out. So I had to ask and see if you were willing to put your job on the line.
Is it the heat or your job, Fahad?
No. I don't think I've said anything so far that would put my job on the line.
No, you didn't.
You know, there's a beautiful poem by Allama Iqbal called Iblis Ki Majlis-e-Shura. It's beautiful because he's putting Iblis and his followers in this like central body meeting, right? Majlis-e-Shura. And they're having a meeting, and one of the followers talks about what's happening in the world. And he's like, "Oh no, did you hear about Karl Marx and how he's coming out?" And well, they start out first with like imperialism and what imperialism has done for them. And then they talk about, well, now the socialists are coming up and Marxism is coming up. And then one of the other followers is like, well, it's okay, we got fascists coming up to take care of that. And then Iblis responds, and he's like, I'm not worried about these isms, because what I'm most worried about is that the Ummah of Muhammad. And he's like, even though they're no longer following the Quran, but there's still some people that are still in there that are aware of it. And he uses this line in Urdu. It's like it's one of those lines when you hear it in Urdu, it gives you goosebumps.
Can you say
because he says, like, he's like, Al-Hazar, Aine Peyghambar se so bar Al-Hazar. Like, I seek refuge like 100 times from the Ain or the constitution of the Peyghambar. From 100 times I seek refuge. Why? Because it gives women their rights and it gives men their place in this world, right? And so he says, I'm not worried about these places. What I'm worried is that as a reaction to these isms, people are going to go back to Islam. So back to Tawheed. You know, and hopefully people will recognize that. I don't know.
That's a great way to end this.
Beautiful way to end the show. Yeah. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair, Brother Fahad.
Dr. Fahad, you're my new hero. I'm just letting you know that.
Dr. Fahad Khan out of the Khalil Center. Make sure you remember them in your donations this Ramadan. Help them out by going to khalilcenter.org, is it?
I think so. I don't even remember .com, I think. Sorry.
Nice guy.
It's khalilcenter.org.
If you get the wrong address, just donate to us instead.
Yes.
And we'll give it to him.
Yeah. Maybe.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time.
Is this last roundtable before Ramadan?
No, we're gonna keep doing some stuff, man. Now we have the studio here, literally at home. I don't think it's
like I think for me,
we have some episodes though coming up this weekend, right?
Yeah, and I think for me, like the recording will take my mind off fasting anyways. Yeah. So I probably will do it. I don't get cotton mouth like some people. Like
but like the Wednesday night roundtable is probably will be like too much.
Well, I mean, it depends. Do you pray Tarawih? I don't know.
I gotta go home and sleep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not Tarawih time. It's just sleep time. Yeah, pretty much. Okay.
Folks, help us out on patreon.com/the Mad Mamluks. Alternatively, you can go to themadmamluks.com/donate. Make sure you click on like and subscribe. Hit that like button, please. We really need your likes before. I'm sorry. Here we go. You always do this. Every time I do this,
because
this guy's right there. Whoop.
Yeah, because you kind of. No, I figured
تفضل يا
since
شيخ.
this is just before Ramadan, maybe Amr just give a 1 or 2 minute thing just to remind for Ramadan because it's the people are listening.
Bro, it's not his last time. He's gonna come on the show again.
Me and you, I don't know if he's going to be busy.
I'm gonna be here.
Oh, wait,
he's
you
gonna
said
be
you're going to be busy with like, I don't know.
No.
Your holiness in
No.
Ramadan, I mean, like
Taraweeh
midnight
nowadays
qiyam,
are
I don't
going to be
know.
45 minutes, bro.
I
He's
don't
gonna
know,
be here.
bro.
We'll see you all
I'll
next
be here.
time.
I'm
Thank you
gonna
so
start with
much.
you guys.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Sometimes I forget the last
That
part.
was the worst salam I've ever heard in my life. Like, he forgot the words. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Yeah,
I was
mind
trying
block,
to
right?
find the outro button, and you guys are still live. You guys so. Why are you such amateurs? We're
Look at
still
this guy.
live.
We're still on Clubhouse. All right, back Clubhouse.
Yeah. All right, Clubhouse. It was fun here. Fahad, thank you for joining in. Bilal, all the great.
Bilal al-Baghdadi?